Welcome to The Explainer. So, how on earth does a $500 million military rescue connect to an ancient spiritual law? Today, we're diving into a fascinating text that links these two completely different worlds, and believe me, it raises some really powerful questions about what we truly value.
Let's just jump right in with a number that's, well, it's pretty staggering. Up to $500 million. Now, what do you think that buys? A skyscraper, a whole fleet of jets? Nope. This was the price tag for saving one single person.
So, what kicked off this whole insane expense? You won't believe it. It was a simple 3-word encrypted message sent from the person who needed saving. God is good. Just those 3 words launched a $500 million operation. Let's get into how. Okay, first up, the story behind this unbelievable $500 million rescue. So here's the situation. An F-15 pilot goes down in the Iranian desert. Now, the source document explains that this astronomical cost, it wasn't just for the rescue itself. A huge chunk of it came from the intentional destruction of highly sensitive military tech to keep it from falling into enemy hands. The mission had 2 goals: save the pilot and protect state secrets, no matter what it cost. But here's where it gets really interesting. This whole story isn't just about military hardware and gutsy rescues. The source actually uses it as this powerful modern-day parable for an ancient Hebrew concept. It pivots us from the battlefield right into a pretty profound spiritual idea. The concept is called hider mitzvah. It literally translates to the beautification of the commandment. And the idea here is it's not about just doing the bare minimum. It's not just checking a box. It's about approaching a duty with excellence. You honor it, you pour your best into it, you beautify it. And this is the really crucial part. According to the source, this whole idea of excellence, it isn't just about making the task look good. It's way deeper than that. The very act of bringing your absolute finest to a command, it fundamentally transforms you, the person who's carrying it out. So where did this idea even come from? Well, let's trace it back to its roots, which, believe it or not, has to do with counting every single grain. This practice all centers on something called the Omer. So an Omer, it's a specific measure of barley, but, and this is key, it wasn't just any barley. This was the very first portion of the harvest, what they called the first fruits. It was seen as the most precious part, and it had to be set aside before anyone was even allowed to eat from the new crop. And this just perfectly illustrates the whole principle in action, right? The command wasn't just, hey, bring some green. No, the process itself was incredibly specific. It was meticulous. It was full of honor. It was about offering the very first and the very best with reverence. This wasn't just about fulfilling a duty. It was about beautifying it. Okay, so now let's bring it all together. Let's connect the dots and get to the core of this whole thing, this question of value. The source creates this stunning parallel. On one side, you have a government that's willing to sacrifice an absolute fortune, its finest, just to save one pilot. And on the other side, the author turns around and poses as a challenge to his Christian audience. Are you willing to make a comparable sacrifice to save one lost soul? It's a direct and pretty provocative question. So that rescue mission, it becomes this perfect, modern, real-world example of hider mitzvah. The military didn't just do their duty. They went so far above and beyond, they beautified it. And in doing that, they placed an almost unbelievable value on a single human life. And that's what the source leaves us with, this final, really provocative thought. It takes this ancient principle of counting every grain, of honoring a commitment with everything you've got, and it asks if we're applying that same intensity, that same sacrifice to our most profound duties. Really, it boils down to this. If a government can value one life at $500 million, what's the value we're placing on our own deepest commitments?